Right after a show, at some point, I got attacked. The guy comes and just pours stuff on me. I freaked out. I was taken to hospital immediately.
She rose to fame at a heart-pounding pace.
She didn't begin like...
She set the charts on fire with soul-chilling songs. And it seemed indeed that whatever she touched turned into gold.
Everything that I've spoken about in my music is a true story.
You'll hear a song like Sexy.
I think she's a very talented young girl.
At age 7, she was already leaving behind a track record of unbelievable performances.
I remember at 7 years old, I was at Sharing, singing and rapping to hip-hop. Hooray!
She was a young girl, but you could think like, she was an artist.
Accepted as a princess of Afropop, Grace has delivered, tearing apart barriers that have prevented young female artists from reaching the top.
If people are nasty to me, I'm not going to be nasty to them. I would rather open my arms to them and help them where I can handle to help them. But then you know what happens after you did what you did for anybody? They're going to turn around and guess what? Boom.
But while at the top, she disappeared from the public eye, leaving her fans wondering if that would be the last time they ever see her on stage.
I took a break. I think the industry was quite demanding.
This is Grace Nakimera, the story behind the Billboard star. Grace's admiration for nice things inspired her to put up a beauty parlor called Pinky in the heart of Kampala, and she let her mother run it for her while she remained in this ever-demanding industry.
I went to Revlon Beauty School. I do learn everything, like my nails, and from that I got my certificate, then came back to Uganda, and I opened up a salon called Pinky.
With love for success, Grace has ventured into real estate business and has managed to build a beautiful home for her dear mother.
I have quite several sites. There's Mukono, which is about 37 acres. There's Nigeria, which is half an acre.
Mu bintu byonna byakoze yanzimbira ennyumba ennamukoka ennungi.
Grace has set up charity organizations to try and give back to society, an activity she agrees is her calling in life.
Alabirira awaka abantu bali kumpi bantu 40, abaana abasoma kumpi 30.
Ne waba neighbor wo ng'olaba tali fine, muyambeko.
Grace Nakimera was born on the 2nd of February 1985 in Namirembe Hospital in a family of 5 to Mr. Kalema David and Rose Nabulia.
I'm the last born of 5.
Abaana bali babakulu bana yeye wokutaano. Ate era mu baana abawala ndowooza yali oba yakazaala oba omwana omu yekka omuwala kati oyo yaba yalinga wakubiri.
Both her parents did numerous businesses, including bus transportation services and a couple of boutiques in Kampala.
Daddy we yali businessman, ng'alina baasi, ng'alina n'amaduuka g'engoye mu Kampala.
Before Grace turned 3 years old, the family was hit with devastating news. The passing of Mr. Kalema David in a tragic accident, freezing everything the family had accumulated over the years in business.
Baali bava kucekinga mmotoka yaabwe nga yafunye accident. Kati ate nabo baali bakomawo nabo ne bafuna accident.
Life took a sudden turn for the worst, complicating the family's lifestyle and the need to adapt to life without the head of a family.
Taata we bwe yafa, ebintu byagendera ddala wansi bubi nnyo. Naye omuntu nga bw'oba omanyi nti tolina kusigala awo kulemera kw'ekyo kintu. Nalina omulimu gwange nali nkola nga ntunda mu tawuni engoye. Nagenda maaso ne ntandikira ddala okuba serious ne mmanyira ddala nti ebintu byonoonese nina kuba serious. Ne batandika kusoma ne mbateeka mu boarding schools nze ne ntandika kukola seriously.
This is your way every day. Love nothing I give you one day.
Watching her mother struggle with all the family's daily demands, Grace took it upon herself at a tender age of 13 to find some work so she could help support the family.
I started working when I was 13. I know how to make money. I'm very independent.
She was brought up by a single mother, and she turned that around and became a hustler who was to provide for her family.
As an independent person, I'm not going to collect from elsewhere. I'm going to have to do it on my own. And my other siblings, a few came through, a few didn't.
This wasn't going to please her mother, who wanted her children to stay focused on what mattered the most: school.
Kati nze namugamba ngati ne kati lwaki tolinzeeko n'omala S6 n'okola ekirala. Nkaga nti njagenda mpolampola omanyi nga tayogera akugamba ekigambo kimu ng'olaba nga bambi tayagala kukunyiiza naye ng'ate ye kyayagala aba akyagala.
With the ever-growing demands at home, Grace's mother saw it fit to indulge further into more business in order to sustain the family. This involved her making numerous trips to Nairobi, where she bought hair pieces and would sell them in Kampala.
Abakulu bwe nabatwala mu boarding school neesigazaawo obwana bubiri, oyo ne sisita we omulala ali yuki kati naye nga busigadde bubiri, naye nga ngenda nga nsuubula Nairobi naye nga ngenda mmalayo ennaku bbiri n'enkomawo, naye be baana be nasigaza mu bulamu bwange ne ndaba nga ninga oba be naakazaala nga mpulira nga bwe ngenda eri ate saagala ngende, ate bwe nsigala ate nina okufuna ssente. Kati neŋŋamba nkole ntya era n'enguma nga nina kugenda kukola kuba namalangayo ennaku bbiri bubiri ne mba nga nkontinuinga mu maaso.
She was such a beautiful soul that she was so honest and never gave up on us in any way.
In addition to what was already in place, she set up a local cinema, locally known as Chibanda. This was to help supplement the family income and bring entertainment closer to home.
She's a businesswoman to this day. She was running a film place, what they called a Chibanda, a cinema. It was like everything was shown there, and I learned from there as well.
It was here that Grace was introduced to Madonna, the material girl.
We used to watch some musical videos from Madonna, and she was so much in love with Madonna. I think that's the reason why she loves performing.
One time my mom comes home and she brings this tape of Madonna. It was amazing. Material girl, like a virgin. It was a fantasy, and I was like, oh, singing in a way, which I'm still doing.
With her brother Junior, also known as Juju, being drawn into music, Grace saw this as an opportunity to learn as much as she could from him by joining her brother at musical performance getaways at the Zambia Sharing Hall. She was only 7.
I remember at 7 years old, I was at Sharing, singing and rapping to hip hop, hooray, oh, and then as I'm doing the chorus, my brother is doing, you never come away, hey, it was fun, man, good times. 7 years old.
I took her to shows, Sharing Zambia Hall. I took her to many places. I took her to the clubs. I took her to the studio because I saw she was different. She was a young girl, but you could think like, she was an artist.
Seeing that her children were fast becoming a norm in staying out long hours, Grace's mother endeavored to instill in her children discipline and hard work as a way to get around the world.
I remember my mama telling me, no one is going to love you more than you can love yourself. No one is going to take care of you more than you can take care of yourself. So keep that in mind and do that. And that meant in every way, financially, work hard. Don't expect to meet a rich man and that man is going to be like, oh man, let me spend on you. No, you do it for yourself.
Our mom has been supportive with all what we're doing, and she loves art.
She was there. And that's deep, man, because other people would let you fly around. And then we grew up and she would always tell you the truth. As you step out the door, she would tell you what's out there. And she's like, protect yourself if you want to. Take care of yourself because no one is going to do that for you.
She asked them to put God first in everything that they did.
Mukyala mulokole, Wesi yalokoka, n'abaana bange abalala baalokoka.
Baby boy, let me set you free.
With the little they had, it would only be love that got them through, especially all the hardships they came across.
Like, she was so calm with us. There was so much love in that home, however small it is. It doesn't matter if you had dinner that night or you didn't. Then she would dance for us and be like, yeah, you can't even do this. Swag. Can you imagine?
Nze nga wakati waliwo muntu musajja nti obaki nze na mukozi nabo nenga buli kimu kyonna kyonna nkibagamba kyammwe babeerenga bambi baleme kugamba nti oba maama atuleka wano lwokuba agenda naye nga bwe balabanga ngenda nga buwulira bubi naye nga nogati oba sigenda ate ng'olina okugenda bampa ku bampa.
Grace attended Bat Valley Primary School, even when she had absolutely no interest in being at school.
Yalinga alina nnyo ekyejo ng'olumu agaana n'akaaba maama wano wannuma n'oga nti ate oba wamuluma kaasiga n'ogamba kaasigale maama ati kati awo wiiki ng'asomyemu ennaku 2 kati omulundi omulala n'agenda bw'aba kati ate kiisimbye yabekisimbye wano n'omuga naye kaakati gwe tunaabeera ku kirobi naye ng'ate kali kaganda kaakalala kabeera buli sseera kamuliko n'omuga nti bonna tugende paka bwe yagenda ng'amanyira bambi ne kivaawo n'aba ng'ali serious.
After her primary education, she joined Old Kampala Senior Secondary School.
Of course, it was Bate Valley Primary School, Old Kampala Secondary. And then I had to do a hair beauty course.
Despite her ability to sing at a school platform, she was a very shy young lady who couldn't stand to sing for anybody.
Musically, in school, it was quite hard for me. I was very shy. I'm still very shy. Like, I could not stand and just like,
She was so shy, but she was so different that she loved music from the word go.
And just so they could motivate her and encourage her, the school drama teacher offered her the position of school choir leader, which she turned down.
One time they made me the choir leader. I'm like, I can't do this. So I backed out.
Okuyimba sikwali nawo n'akamu n'akatono yamala kumala S4.
Coming up.
Him working as a DJ, he has every information that you need.
Naye yagenda okudda nga atandise okuyimba.
It was with the support of her brothers that Grace was able to develop her vocals and build confidence. This led her to eventually joining her brother Juju on a trip to Kigali, where he had a job as a DJ in one of the clubs. The hope was to do something musically while there.
Waliyo brother we mutabani wange omukulu yagenda ng'abeera Rwanda kati yagendayo just holiday naye yagenda okudda nga atandise okuyimba.
I think I was about 15, 16, 17, right there. I went to Kigali following my brother while he was DJing in a club called Cadillac in Rwanda, quite a big club.
I noticed around 7 to 9 years that she could really be a good musician and a performer, so I introduced her to many things that she needed to know about vocal training, guys that she could listen to, not just this normal, pop kind of music that is popular everywhere, but artists are not good vocally.
Him working as a DJ, he has every information that you need. Who is rocking right now? Who is not rocking right now? What did they do? What is Whitney doing? Whitney Houston doing? What? Everything that I needed to collect, I collected.
I was a DJ. That was the good thing about it. So I could notice and hear. I've got an ear for good stuff.
And then at some point while I was in Rwanda, Brenda Fassie turned up. My inspiration. She turns up, bold head. One time, boom, 180 there. I was like,
I had to introduce her to some good, some good people could sing. I introduced her to Brenda Fassie. And thank God, around 2004, Brenda Fassie came to Rwanda and we were in Rwanda. And Grace was one of the performers who were backing some international reggae singer from Rwanda. It's called Natty Dread.
But while in Kigali, Grace would undergo very intense vocal training that required her to be locked up in her room for 3 hours every day just to perfect her craft.
From all that, Koffi Olomide, Awilo Longoma, every African artist that you could talk about or think about, in Rwanda I saw quite plenty. And with all that energy, I come home and I'm like, oh man, I'm really hungry for this. I need this. I need a piece of this. So I rehearsed, and every single time I would rehearse, he would lock me in a room and be like, you don't have the key. I'm giving you 3 hours, work, then come and have lunch. Then go back and work. So my voice became very, it's quite different from the normal voice. And everybody would be like, me, I'm like, like that. With attitude, because I was mad at him. But now I understand that what he did for me was really, really amazing, and I respect him for that.
I wanted her to see the real world as, not being at this side of the stage, like seeing the artist and, saying,
Everybody do the bounce, 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 bounce.
And a couple of weeks later, her brother booked her a singing gig at the Mill Collins Hotel in Kigali, where she sang for a while.
After rehearsing so good, my brother was like, my sister sings, so book her here. It's a hotel called Mill Collins in Rwanda. I would sing there every Saturday and Sunday. So I would kind of spend a few days in Uganda, then travel back in a bus. I worked there for a while. Was it half a year, probably?
Upon her return to Uganda, after spending almost 2 years going back and forth to Rwanda, Grace decided to take part in the talent search at Alligators in Kampala. And after winning her spot as one of the singers, she knew she had a place somewhere in the industry.
Right in between that, I was still here and playing games and like, Then I go to our talent search. It was at Alligators.
What I remember about Grace is Alligators. I used to own a bowling alley in Garden City called Alligators. And we used to have karaoke, which was very, very popular. Basically, it attracted a lot of the local, upcoming musicians. And also musicians, it kind of gave them a small little stage to do their thing. And what I remember about Grace is she was this little dainty girl, very thin, very young, looked like she just came out of school, waiting for an opportunity, and those days opportunities were very few.
Bwe nalaba ng'atandise okuyimba seriously ng'agenze mu alligators ne ntandika okutya ne ngamba nti kiri nali ndowooza kigenda kukoma mu kyaki naye kati ate neeno n'ekitiira awo naye nagenda okulaba ng'ate kiri serious ate ekirungi n'ekyagalira ddala bambi.
It was one of those nights at Alligators that Grace met Gatimore, a local musician, and together they released the hit song Anyakumanyi.
I found beautiful singers, amazing singers, I think on top of their game to this day. But then I met a gentleman by the name of Gatimore. And he's like, yo, sir. I'm like, agambachi. So we chat, we be like, yeah. And I'm like, Anyakumanyi, you're serious. Don't talk. You don't say nothing. Like, stuff like that. So he's like, well, that could be a nice tune. Because he was also there as a talent. Like, he was quite good. He was amazing in singing. He was a very good writer as well. So he's like, Grace, let's write this song and let's see what happens. 15 minutes later, we're like, guess what happens? We release the song.
My boy DJ Ricky, we used to play together. We called ourselves Kampala's finest. We still are, but it's just that I've been off the DJ circuit. But one time we were playing at Rock Gardens and he told me there's this girl, she's called Grace. He wanted me to, play her music or something. Just listen to her music and probably play it on the radio. And I was like, what music is that? And then they come out with, I forget what the name was, Gatimore and Grace and Gatimore, I think. They had that song, Anyakumanyi. Well, what do you know? My cousin Donald called himself Paragon. He now lives in the States. He did the rap, I got my money, na. That was him in it. So, first I felt so cheated, maybe, that my cousin had the song recorded, but I did not know about it.
Gatimore and Paragon, they met Grace at a karaoke place. By that time I was in Rwanda, so she had come to see the parent. So when she came back, she told me that she had worked on a track. Then she did a hook of the chorus. Then I said, it sounds sick. Then afterwards, the song was all over.
And we belong together like a book and a pen. Me love you more than Paris love gold. Woman, I will love you when you record and old. She said, Anyakumanyi, girl, I got my money. Anyakumanyi.
The main thing is I gave her encouragement, yeah? Because at the end of the day, a lot of musicians in Kampala need that initial, to get the foot in the door. And Grace is one of those girls who needed that. She needed somebody to say, you know what, you actually have it. So she had that perseverance to keep going. And I think I helped her in a small, it was a small stage, it was a small group, but then I think it was a big step for her in her career.
Right after that, Gatimore had to go back to school and I had to continue. But the love for music never went away. And when he went to school, I was also like, okay, Nate, I should do more.
With school behind her, Grace knew it was time to be there for her mother and help with the family during its financial struggle.
After senior 6, I knew that I had to be smart. I had to, at that point, be there for my mom because she had always been there for me.
She was such a true definition of a lady hustler in Uganda. Because if you know what your family, like she said, she was brought up by a single mother, and she turned that around and became a hustler who was to provide for her family.
As an independent person, I'm not going to collect from elsewhere. I'm going to have to do it on my own.
Grace opted for a course in beauty and she left Uganda for Kenya to join Revlon Beauty School in Nairobi.
I do what I love most. I love beauty, I love makeup, I love hair. So I go to Nairobi for a while. I went to Revlon Beauty School. I do learn everything, like my nails, how to do your nails, how to do it yourself in a way.
Upon completion of this course and with this new training, the result was a beauty shop called Pinky in the heart of Kampala.
And from that I got my certificate, then came back to Uganda, and I opened up a salon called Pinky.
Grace yakola saluni mu town omwo nga teri alina saluni ngeeyo. Ngo abantu bonna bakunganira omwo.
So I did the hair for a while, and then later I started hiring more people. And then my mom was managing the place.
With the business doing well, it wasn't long before music came knocking at the door, to which she responded with Wiragachi.
It was fun. It was fun. It was crazy at the same time because I had a bunch of crazy girls.
While the song was doing its rounds in the hangouts, it dawned on her that with the stiff competition in the industry, all Grace had to do was to return to the studio and create club bangers. Amfukula was the answer.
My brother comes back from Rwanda and he's like, you know what, hit the studio. I could afford to hit the studio. And I go, boom, chechiribo. We go Amfukula. Reaction is boom, 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 boom.
It was one of those hot afternoons that Grace joined a couple of young models whose goal was to win a photo shoot with an acclaimed photographer, Andre Ringen, who was visiting Kampala at the time.
I was a model as well. I've tried posing around for pictures. I love pictures. So I went to his office for something they needed, and that's how we met for the first time. I was the most flexible person they could find, like up yoga stuff. So I did that, and then we met.
They fell in love and soon welcomed their only daughter, Myra Ringen Kalima, born on the 26th of November, 2006.
My baby girl was born 9 a.m. International Hospital. She was so beautiful. The greatest gift that I've ever been given, I swear. Nothing can ever match that up, literally. She was so amazing. Like, I just, what a works. And the dad was right there taking pictures. Nangaba, I'm going to enter inside. Simani that one. If you enter this spot, you're out.
Having had to watch her mother struggle while growing up reminded her of her duties as a mother.
Seeing her hustle, seeing her work hard, made me the woman that I am today. She's very proud of me. She cooks for me sometimes, but I cook for her most times. She's amazing.
Coming up.
We did a big performance, kaboom boom, yeah, yeah.
I've played Kaonao on my way to work.
This promptly got her back to the recording studios, and songs such as Mvao Nawe, Kaonao, and Osobola were among the many songs she released and grew her fan base countrywide.
Had a lot of music, and I'm glad that people still receive it in a very good way.
I think Kaonao for me was like one of the biggest songs. I've played Kaonao on my way to work on replay, on my way back home on replay, every day for like a month. And I used it as my callback tune for a whole year. That tells you just how much I loved that song. The production was awesome, her vocals over it. And then she also has that rugged voice. and then she lets go of it and does the proper harmonies and everything, then gets back into it. I think she's a very talented young girl.
Olimba olwo kaawona lwe luyimba lwe nawulira nga neŋŋamba kweri Grace ndowooza muyimbi n'enkakasiza ddala Grace ayimba.
It was telling a story about Grace, where she comes from as an artist. Things were so hard, but she tried to do her own thing. And I like the arrangement, but I love the reggae version, not this version that went viral everywhere.
Grace went on to win the Video of the Year award for her song Amfukula at the Pearl of Africa Music Awards in 2008.
I remember Palm Awards, we did a big performance, kaboom boom, yeah. Palm Awards, bichaune, tubikuba byali byakabya. I won Video of the Year Amfukula.
The need to put up a concert was growing day by day, and Grace marked her calendar that showtime would be on the 14th of May 2010.
My first concert that I did in Uganda had about 10,000 people.
Despite several requests by the organizers demanding that the dates be changed, Grace stood her ground and hoped that her core fan base would turn up and grace the occasion.
Everybody came through, and that was the most humbling and amazing thing. I appreciate there was Ndausi from Simba, there was Bobby Wine, there was Juliana, there was levels and levels and more levels, like literally levels. And then the people that came through, like you could sit here and then go and then your eyes stop. Kapow, respect.
Olunaku lwe nagendako ku show ye, nalaba abantu nga bangi nnyo, naate nagenda okulanga enkuba ezze nenga ntifudde banendooza bannange nentuuyana navayo nga ŋŋamba ti banetufudde gwesitage naye nagenda okubwetamu bwe nti nga ndaba abantu bali eri paka mu kkubo nenga nti wange sijja birinda kaŋŋende nze nezirayo eka naye nga nalinga eyo nga mpuliriza nga nti oba leero akoze atya oba bambi bimugendedde bulungi ne mukama n'akikola.
Even today, that's why people will be looking for when they're trying to come to pay when they're trying to pay all that much money to watch an artist. You get the energy on stage, the way she portrays herself, the way she drops the lyrics, the way she drops her lines and everything, plus the way she connects with the crowd. I've seen a lot of artists today, new artists who are not like from artists from the way 2000s. They have the voice, but then they don't have the energy of connecting with a crowd. So I think that's one thing I should applaud Grace about.
The artist kind of thing, you sometimes have to go away and say, will the people come? That kind of situation. But it was a weird show, very weird show. Thank God people turned up, and it was a good show.
A successful show it was indeed for the Kaonao songstress.
I was doing my first concert, and as a girl, of course, you're putting everything out there, you try and your best, and I put my date out here and somebody says, no, I've booked that date, and you're like, okay, but I booked this date. What do I do with all the commitments that I made?
Ate n'eswaga ezo ze bagamba swaga teri bintu binalinda bye bintiisa nti anabe yakola ebibi ng'abayimbi b'owulira nti yakubye ono oba yakoze ati saabiwulirako.
Like people tried to stall me. Someone was sent back behind the scene to try to buy my show. to delay me from making sure that that show happens. Then another major big artist sued me for putting him on the poster. It was then the morning of that show, he says, everyone that's going to this show, he sent about 10,000 SMS. Everyone that's going to this show, go because I'm not there.
With the spirits high and the celebrations in high gear, something awkward and terrifying happened.
Right after a show, at some point, I got attacked. A guy comes across me, comes and starts attacking me, saying words, but why respond? If you don't know the person, why respond? Hey. I'm like, I didn't respond. He comes back again. I didn't respond. He comes back the third time. The guy comes and just pours stuff on me. I'm like, oh, okay. I freaked out. I was taken to hospital immediately.
The magnitude of this was huge, considering the fact that the country had been experiencing many incidents in which many women were victims of these hate crimes, pouring acid into their faces or even killing them.
In that process, when we are walking to the car, I had noise. Grace was making noise. Then I could not see. Then I saw her going down. Then I picked her up. We thought it was acid. Then we rushed to the clinic. Then we found it was not acid. It was like oil.
Naye okujja okuŋŋamba ekyo ekintu natya nnyo ate nga nina pressure. Namanya nti banzise. Natya n'okutuuka okumala okumulaba kwe kukakasa. Nali mmanyi nti bannembo bamukobye ekyo bamukoze kiki ne paka namala mulaba.
It got me depressed for a while. I was not in a good place. I took it personally at some point. I got mad, I got angry. You can tell my emotions right now. I'm not sad, I'm not broken, I'm strong. I'm very strong. So that just makes me work even harder, prepare for more. But it doesn't put me down. It doesn't break me. I'm still here. There's a reason I'm still here, and I'm going to live that life and take it where God takes it. But it was not a good time.
With that period, I discovered that, the music journey is a crazy business.
Grace's success in the industry has been somewhat overwhelming to the family, to say the least.
Grace Mukama yamuwa omukisa. Kino sijja kigamba nti ki music yamukolamu sente.
I made a little money. And I still loved music.
And the income from the beauty shop Pinky wasn't adding much to their well-being, yet demanded a lot of input.
The salon got to a point where it was working and making sense, and then where it wasn't working anymore. We move on. You have to evolve in a way. Move on to a new space and a new page.
Its closure was welcomed by the family, and the focus on real estate business was more than welcome.
I go into real estate. I have quite several sites. There's Mukono, which is about 37 acres. There's Najera, which is half an acre. There's Namgongo, there's Kisasi, there's quite... So I'm like, okay, what is that thing that cannot fade away?
Grace aguza amataka, Grace aguza amayumba, Grace akoledde ddala ebintu bingi.
Over the years, Grace has worked tirelessly with numerous people whom she considers as family.
All my producers are family, I should say. For example, Chihuahua, there's another gentleman by the names of Rico, there's D King, there's also Phenon. And I co-write with different artists and writers. For example, there's Silva Chagulanyi, there's Peter Nawe, that I've co-written with quite plenty of singles.
With the family at the center of her heart, she sought to expand it by providing care to those that didn't have anything.
Ne waba neighbor wongo laba tali fine muyambeko ne kabaka sukali nga goina kilo mwe half. It's not like you're doing so much, but try.
Grace opened up a charity organization called Feed the Streets Foundation, which has built numerous houses for the elderly and taken care of more than 50 underprivileged children.
Grace si ye muntu gamba nti ye muntu alina sente nyingi nnyo. Ne Grace yavaayo n'atandika okukola charity, n'azimbira abakadde yeeyiganga ennyumba, alabirira awaka abantu bali kumpi bantu 40.
I've gone around Uganda.
This act of giving and sharing the little she has with everyone has brought her closer to God, who she believes has provided in many ways she can't tell.
All chance jayampa that I can't even tell anybody, like just out of the blue, but he gave me a chance. Nangamba, now you're around. One more time, I'm giving you this.
During the high tides of her childhood, Grace made a pact with God, and today she's fulfilling her end of the bargain.
When I was 13 years old, nasubiza mukama ne mugamba olaba ogenda kunyamba onzije mweno hard situation gye ndimu. Kati mweno situation bwonzijamu, I'm going to pay you back somehow. Nene mugamba mukama olina okumpa omukisa, olina okumpa sente, olina okundagako nti ye Katonda n'abimpa byonna. Neneerabiramuko nempita we nali nina okukoma. So nampa chance eyo nangamba obanyi kati ogenda kunkolera kyenjagala. Ne mugamba yesebo, I'm going to do exactly like I promised before. Ngenda kubeererawo abantu, ngenda kukola bwenti. Ngezaako sinti nina sente nyingi nyonyo, but I use my heart.
Music hasn't been knocking at Grace's door lately, and this has raised eyebrows as to whether this would be the last time they will ever get to see her perform on stage. Better still, her beautiful voice on the radio airwaves.
I took a break. I think the industry was quite demanding. Osobola okubeerayo n'obeera ng'oli ku TV. But what else have you done? Okiraba? Okoze ki ekisinga ku just okubeera ku TV? That's why I do more than just music.
Her name may not be active in the music performances of today, but she's very much alive in her charity activities. Should we write her off yet? I don't think so, because she's still everything you ever thought she was. She is Grace Nakimera, rebranding and well ready to come back, because music has always been her dream.
I'm a musician, and I know I'll always be a musician. So for now, I'm actually doing a gospel song. I'm doing a gospel song. So in a minute, ogenda kikuba ng'okirabye.